Hello! How is everybody doing? Today we are doing a food prep video. I have a bunch of food in my fridge and freezer that's going bad, on my counter that's going bad. So I need to use up things that are going bad, get some food prep for the week, and I'm trying to eat a little bit more healthier, so we're doing healthy addition this time. So yeah, I got some onions that I'm gonna pickle, some eggs that I'm gonna boil, I'm gonna make a green smoothie, and I'm gonna make some blended oats. And then I'm gonna cut up some celery and make some like healthy ranch dip, but not ranch. So let's get this going. I wanna get all this food prepped and get it ready for the week. First thing I'm gonna do is get these eggs boiling. So I just have a raggedy pot back here that I'm gonna throw these in some cold water and get them boiling. And then I'm also going to need to boil the vinegar mixture for my onions. So I'm gonna try to use the same pot. I'm trying to keep my dishes down, make less work for myself, work smarter, not harder. So I'm gonna get these going first thing. Okay, so I'm gonna get my smoothie going. The smoothie that I'm gonna be making is a tropical smoothie company, like dupe, I guess. I found like a copycat recipe online and that's what I follow. And it tastes pretty similar, so that's what I do. It's better than paying $10 for a smoothie in my book. So what I have here is just some blended kale, spinach, and like water. And then I just put them in like a little ice thing and freeze them. And then that's out of the way. Then I have some mango, some pineapple, a rotten banana, a lime, some ginger. And then I'm using this coconut milk, which it doesn't call for this. But I'm going to be using this just because it's been in my freezer forever and I need to get rid of it. So I thawed it out and I'm going to use it in my smoothie. I thought maybe it would make it a little richer and creamier and maybe, I don't know, add something to it. This usually also calls for coconut water. I don't have any coconut water, so I'm just going to use some regular water and call it a day. But let's get this going. I'm doubling this, so I'm going to use the whole banana. If you were just making one serving of this, I would usually only use a half a banana, but I'm going to double it and see if I could possibly get 3 cups out of that. Probably not, but I'm gonna try my best. So I'm gonna use all of this. And then it usually calls for a half cup each of fruit, but I'm using a whole cup. That's half and 1. Half and 1. That's my mango and pineapple. I'm just gonna use about half the bottle. Okay, that's good. And then I just have some plain water, plenty of liquid. I'm gonna add some ginger. It calls for 1 inch of ginger. In this smoothie, I don't know if I said the name of it, but I think it's called the Island Green Detox. Okay, ginger going in. I usually do a taste test, just because I don't always get the ginger right. Got my greens, my banana, pineapple, mango, ginger, and my liquid. You can also add some protein powder to this. I sometimes do that. I don't know if I'm gonna do that this time. I'm just gonna get it blended up and see how it's tasting, see if it needs anything. And then maybe I might add some protein powder. While that was mixing, I grabbed some cups. And now I'm just going to, if you can't get your lid off, just pull that little part up and it'll come off. But there we go. All right. I'm just gonna pour this into the cups because I like to make this ahead and then store it in the freezer. All right, so we got 2 out of that. Not bad. I'm gonna get this cleaned up and we're gonna get to the next thing. So let's get started on our oats. I'm just gonna do a half, and that would usually be like 1, but because I'm doubling, I'm gonna do 2. So usually a half, but I'm doing a whole cup, and I'm getting oats everywhere while I'm doing it. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of cinnamon, or a lot, depending on who you are. We're gonna do some vanilla extract. Just eyeball it. Whatever your heart feels right. I'm gonna do usually a half a banana, but this time a whole since it's doubled. I don't know why I'm saying that so many times. But yeah, I guess you get the point. It's doubled. Probably like, we got it. Give it a rest. I know. And you don't have to use a rotten banana. I'm just using rotten bananas because that's what I have. And then I just used some chia seeds. I eyeball that again. I'm an eyeballer. I mean, clearly some things I'm measuring, but I don't measure everything. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put a decent bit of milk. And this milk that I'm using is high in fat, high in calories because it's cashew milk. So it's not something I use all the time, especially for weight loss. But if you're looking for a good source of fat or whatever, and you want to try to incorporate that, that's how to do it. This is good and blended. I'm just getting some things cleaned up. This is blended and ready to go. So I'm just going to get my area cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll get these in the cups and get the fruit and honey and stuff on them. All right, so I got my area cleaned up. I have these little bowls. I'm actually looking into purchasing some different kind of food prep things just because the lids that I have for all this stuff is they're kind of just shot. They're on their last leg. It's time for me to upgrade, but this is what we're working with, and I'm just gonna pour this into each bowl. So now I'm just taking some honey and I'm going over the top with just a little drizzle. You can also, when you're blending this, mix your honey in it. But I just like to go with a little bit on the top. Honestly, it probably doesn't make a difference how you do it. And then I have some fruit here that I washed earlier. So it's some pears, some blueberries. These pears are going bad, so I really need to use them. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle the little bit of blueberries that I have left. So I'm gonna get to chopping, and then I'm gonna finish these off with some granola. So I'm just slicing these up now, dicing them up, and putting them on top. My eggs are really bubbling back there. I can hear them. Woo. And again, this is very changeable, versatile recipe. You can change things to you. So if you don't like pears, you can use whatever fruit you want. Just trying to make it somewhat even. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my blueberries. All of these are washed. I'm just looking for like any little stems or whatever. All right. Just kind of press these down a little bit. And I'm just using a protein granola, but you can use whatever you want. Or not even use granola, it's up to you. Okay, and those are good to go. I'm now gonna put some lids on them, get them in the fridge, and get to the next part, which is probably, I guess I'll get the celery and the dip out of the way and we'll do the onions last. Okay, I just got some celery washed, and man, is it dirty. So I'm gonna get cutting that up, and then we're gonna make the dip to go with it. So what I'm doing is I'm just using some plain Greek yogurt. This is an Aldi brand, kind of like a dupe for the Too Good brand, but it's just plain. Just gonna grab a little spoon and fill the container or the bowl. And then again, you can use any yogurt you want, as long as you have the basics, like you don't need certain brands or whatever. You can get just a regular yogurt if you want. I am just using a ranch packet. I don't even know if this is a brand, if this is brand ranch or if it's just a knockoff ranch, but again, you can use whatever. So I just sprinkle that all in. And this was about a half a packet left. I had used half the packet last week. So you just put that in and then mix it up with your tiny whisk. If you don't have a tiny whisk, use a fork. I'm just gonna taste it on the back of the butter knife. Actually, it is good, but I'm gonna add a little bit more yogurt to that. It's a little strong. So I got my celery and my dip ready. And now the last thing that we need to get to is our onions. So I'm gonna get this all cleaned up and cleared away, and then we're gonna get started on our onions. Look at this. Last thing we have left is our onions. We've cleared this whole counter. It was full of stuff, and we're just working our way through it. So I turned the heat off on the eggs. I'm gonna get them out of the pot, and then we'll get started on our onions. So first thing we're gonna do to get started on our onions is I'm gonna pour some peppercorns in the pot. I'm not measuring, so I couldn't tell you how many. Whatever you think. I'm gonna put some sugar in there. I honestly don't know how much. I'm not following a recipe. So let's just say 2 tablespoons. Sometimes I don't even put sugar. So sugar's optional, up to you. And then I'm gonna start with 1 bottle that I already have opened of red wine vinegar. This was a 16.9 fluid ounce bottle. And I think I'm gonna go in with a little more for the jar I have, but you're just making enough for the jar that you have. I think that's probably good. And then I'm just adding some water. Okay. And then I'm gonna put some garlic in the pot. That's gonna simmer while I'm cutting up all these onions. Lucky me. I just start putting them in here. Trying to separate them, but they'll get separated in there. Whew. I'm crying, y'all. I'm crying. Whew. Well, I'm gonna finish cutting these onions and I'll get back to you guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I've gotten everything cleaned up. I've got dishes in the sink that I'm gonna get started on while that's simmering. And then we're just gonna pour that mixture over this. And then it's gonna have to cool completely before you get it in the fridge. And that's gonna be our pickled onions. But yeah, I use pickled onions for sandwiches, salads. I love pickled onions, but if that's not your thing, I get it. So that's just my thing. Ooh, on like a steak and avocado like sandwich with like some good bread and like a good cheese. Oh, like add the onions. Oh man. But anyway, I'm gonna get to doing these dishes and then we'll get our mixture over our onions. All right, I also need to peel these eggs, but I have our mixture. It is steaming hot. And I'm gonna tell you what, I don't have barely any more strength left in this hand because I'm pouring it out today, y'all. So I hope I can pour this without making a mess. I made a huge mess, but look at that. It filled right to the top. I'm gonna get that last little bit of garlic in there. And I'm gonna take a knife so I can get some of these peppercorns through there. Some of that garlic, because I don't want all that sitting at the top. So I'm just kind of mixing this around with a butter knife. Okay. And now this mixture that I just made a huge mess with is gonna cool completely. All right, guys, that's about it for this video. I gotta get this stuff cleaned up, this mess that I just made, and these eggs peeled, but that's it. We made our smoothies, so we got a couple smoothies for the week. We got some eggs and celery and some dip for lunch. I'll probably add like a string cheese, maybe a couple crackers, pretzels, something to that. And then I'll have these onions for like salads and sandwiches. And then we have our oats for breakfast. So we have a little bit of variety of things to pick from for the week. That way we're making healthy choices when we can and being able to just grab things and go. That's really helpful for me during the week, and it helps me have things go a little smoother. I also have some oranges back there that sometimes I cut up and just take like a little orange with me or something, but that all helps me stay on track and continue towards a healthier lifestyle. So that works for me. But anyway, as always, you guys, thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and maybe I'll see you next time. Bye!